Yo, YouTube, what's up with your boy? Sports and Fitness Rants. I'm back, guys. Click that like button. Subscribe to my channel. What's up, y'all? Welcome back, guys. Welcome back, man. Got another great video for you guys today, as usual, man. You guys know the deal on this channel. It's all about setting the record straight, stopping the lies, stopping the narratives, stopping them from rewriting history, guys. And in this video, we're going to continue the legends of winning things. See, these guys don't know, man. I must continue to educate these clowns out here. Like I did to those clowns, Go James Kingdom, a couple years back when they came to the live. Like I did to that clown, Gilbert Arenas, when he came to the live. Like I've done to that clown, FYF Sports, when he comes to the live, when he came out and did videos. Right? What I've done to this guy, Casino for Life. What I did to these clowns over the Score Society. That clown Omar from the House of Highlights. These weirdos from the Basement Boys. Anyone out here that ain't holding the standard, that's trying to rewrite history, I'm going to set the record straight on you clowns. And I got the facts here. I'm undefeated out here, man. These clowns can't touch me, man. Because they're out here crying with narratives, their emotions. These guys never played sports, never watched this stuff in the 80s and the 90s. They have no context and perspective. They're out here just talking nonsense. And look at the kinds of people they attract to their channels. Once again, their platform is trash, but yet they get all these weird soft kids that come there that think they're spitting facts. You look at the comment section, these dudes are cringe as hell. Weird stuff from a bunch of soft feminine weirdos out there hanging out, painting their nails together. I'm telling you guys right now, out there, trading recipes. Out there, switching skirts and trading dresses with each other and stuff, and, swapping man purses. Hey, man, I like that color. You take this one, I'll take that one. Out here wearing fake glasses and stuff. Just a bunch of soft dudes riding shotgun with their woman. Weirdos! So in this one of Legends of Winning, we're going to continue with something he said. He said that Pau Gasol between 2008 and 2012, that version of Pau Gasol was better than any version of Manu Ginobili and Tony Parker. We're going to talk about it a little bit more in this video because I talked about it in the other thing, but that's crazy to me. Insane. And why is he doing this? To take away from Kobe Bryant, guys. Not to big up Pau Gasol. We're going to talk about this video. And I want to thank you guys, everyone across the world, everyone across the states, man, has been supporting my channel, guys. I am truly humbled, man, by all support, guys. It means a lot, man, for real. You guys know that, man. Like I said, shout out to everybody in the membership, man. And you guys know what to do. Turn the volume all the way up. Hit that play button. Remember, these videos are for educational purposes. And let's roll. So, yes, guys, like I said, we're going to continue to set the record straight and educate this clown, Legends of Winning. I told you, this big biscuit-eating fool never played sports, never played basketball. You think this dude can run up and down the court? You think he can run up and down a flight of stairs? No, that's why this man sits in a chair. Every time you see that clown, he's in a chair. All these guys, they're always sitting down in chairs, man, because they're lazy people. I keep telling these clowns, man, I dare you fools to go to my fitness site, pull up a video that I've done or a workout I've done on video, and duplicate it. I dare you guys. You're that FYF clown calling me steroids and fitness rants. Some of these other weirdos out here talking nonsense. This clown Casino for Life telling me I walked around on my live without drinking water for 2 hours. Dude, you're a joke. An absolute joke. I told you to go and show me you running up a flight of stairs. Go show me you run a mile. Go show me you doing a single pull-up, dude. Don't talk to me about walking without drinking water like you're a freaking camel. I'm supposed to be impressed with that. Are you in the Sahara Desert doing this? Dude, you're a joke. You ain't in shape and you look like hell. And you never played sports. You admitted this. So stop talking about sports you never played, fool. Same thing with Legends of Winning. Dude, you never played basketball a day in your life. Never. These guys are clowns. All of them dudes. His whole little crew. They're a bunch of weirdos, man. Soft, feminine dudes. And this clown out here trying to tear down Kobe Bryant, trying to attack Scap Attack, trying to make Scap look stupid in Scap's debate versus the 10 Kobe haters on the House of Highlights. This clown, I told you the other day, he said that from 2008 to 2012, that version of Pau Gasol was better than any version of Manu Ginobili and Tony Parker. He don't know the game before 2010, guys. That lets me know that right there. You do not know the game before 2010. You have no clue who Tony Parker is. No clue who Tony Parker is. No clue who Manu Ginobili is, apparently. Manu Ginobili was, for all intents and purposes, the best sixth man of the era. Of the era. And Manu Ginobili was a guy that we talked about in the other video that sacrificed numbers, sacrificed accolades, right? He sacrificed paper resume stuff to win, to be a key member of a championship team, a dynasty essentially, from 1999 to 2007, right? Where the Spurs won 4 championships during that 8-year span, right? 99, 03, 05, 07. So when we talk about that time, and guys like Manu Ginobili and Tony Parker coming onto the team, and I think that was like, 2002 or 2003 or something like that, 2004, whatever it was. These guys came to the team, and they were integral members, right? They were the big three, essentially, for the San Antonio Spurs. Those were their three best players, and like I told you, Manu Ginobili sacrificed to come off the bench. He sacrificed for Tim Duncan, for the San Antonio Spurs, for himself, right? And we all respect Manu Ginobili for that. He's very respected, right? Manu Ginobili's career. Look about what he did in the Olympics for Argentina. He was sensational, Manu Ginobili. And we talk about the clutch time performer that Manu Ginobili was. Manu Ginobili was a very good clutch time performer, guys. He was one of the prime time clutch performers, especially coming off the bench and not being a starter. Manu Ginobili was a clutch time performer, man. Whether it was making a basket, making a key defensive stop, or like I said, just coming up with a loose ball. Just the overall effort and the IQ of Manu Ginobili. He was a winner. He made winning basketball plays. Pau Gasol wasn't like that before Kobe Bryant. And I told you, legend of winning is not trying to give Pau Gasol credit. What he's doing is what a lot of LeBron James fans do. They're disingenuous. He's trying to lower Kobe Bryant down by raising up Pau Gasol to a level he was never at. Pau Gasol was never better than Tony Parker. Never better than Tony Parker, guys. He was never better than Manu Ginobili, in my opinion. Never better than these guys, right? He's close to them. I'm not saying these guys are miles ahead of Pau Gasol. But for him to say the best version of Pau Gasol was 08 to 2012, which happened to be when he played with Kobe Bryant, and then to try to use that to knock Kobe Bryant or to knock the other guys, or to knock the guys that Kobe Bryant, Tim Duncan, and raise him up by saying, oh, Tim Duncan made Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili, right? He really tried to make it seem like Manu Ginobili and Tony Parker weren't even that great. They were okay, but it was Tim Duncan that made them better or made them great, and they would have been nothing without Tim Duncan. I told you guys, yes, they're greater with Tim Duncan, but Tim Duncan's greater with them. They were good without Tim Duncan. They would be good without him. Would they be as great as they were without him? No, Tim Duncan's an all-time legend. So he obviously is going to make the people around him better. That's what he did. But to say that they're only great because of Tim Duncan, or to make it seem like they weren't that great as Pau Gasol was with Kobe. So you're giving Kobe Bryant for making Pau Gasol greater than Tim Duncan made Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili? I don't understand what you're doing here. You don't make any sense. You are contradicting yourself. You sound like a straight fool because you're not being genuine. You're just being a disingenuous clown. You're just trying to knock Kobe Bryant down a peg by lifting up Pau Gasol. You're not genuinely giving Pau Gasol credit because no one believes and agrees with you when you make a statement like that. There's no one that thinks that Pau Gasol, any version, was better than Tony Parker was. Or to me, better than Manu Ginobili was. Because I told you, if we're going to go off numbers or accolades or lack of, once again, Manu Ginobili sacrificed that to win. But to me, giving Manu Ginobili in the clutch over Pau Gasol, once again, Manu Ginobili was a tougher competitor. Remember, that was the knock on Pau Gasol. What do you think his problem was in Memphis, Pau Gasol, before he went to the Lakers? His problem was his mind. He was weak. People were saying that he was not one of those guys that could lead a team. He wasn't a leader, Pau Gasol, and he played with some talent. He wasn't a leader like that. The Memphis Grizzlies weren't doing a damn thing. Not a damn thing when Pau Gasol was there. But they want to celebrate Pau Gasol when he played with Kobe Bryant, and that version being better than any version of Manu Ginobili and Tim Duncan and Tony Parker. So essentially what you did was you admitted that Kobe Bryant made Pau Gasol better than Tim Duncan ever made Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili. That's what you did right there when you said that. But you thought that you were trashing Kobe Bryant and trying to raise up Pau Gasol and saying that Tim Duncan did more or less? Really, we're going to say that Tim Duncan did more. That's what he was saying. Tim Duncan did more or less because Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili were not good as Pau Gasol. So what are we going to say? That Lamar Odom now is better than Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili also? We're going to go with that now? We're going to start saying Shannon Brown was better. Derek Fisher was better. Right? We're going to start naming these guys off as better? We're going to say that now? I mean, what are we doing here? Doesn't make any sense. But this is what they do for the Kobe Bryants, the Michael Jordans, all the other guys not named LeBron James. They're going to trash everyone else with weird narratives that don't add up. It don't add up. Like you tried to give Tim Duncan props, but all you did was not Tim Duncan, though. Because like I said, you're not being honest when you think that Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili are not as good as Pau Gasol. Tony Parker's a Finals MVP. I want you to go watch some video, not go watch some video games of Tony Parker. The dude was sensational in the 2000s. I mean, from like 2004, right? 2005 to like 2012, 13, 14, Tony Parker was still really good, man. For like a decade. This guy was an elite point guard. Elite point guard. when we talk about the San Antonio Spurs and you talk about Tim Duncan, yes, he's going to get most of the shine and the credit because he's Tim Duncan. But we can't act like David Robinson wasn't there. We can't act like Bruce Bowen wasn't there, or Steven Jackson wasn't there, or Steve Smith, or Robert Horry. It's funny they talk about Steve Kerr from Michael Jordan, but Steve Kerr was on that team for the San Antonio Spurs. He won a championship with them also. But they won't bring Steve Kerr for that. Right? No, it's weird stuff. Tim Duncan had a lot of guys. Manu Ginobili, Tony Parker. Integral members. And once again, 07, Tony Parker stepped up, outscored LeBron James in the finals. Outscored LeBron James in the finals, Tony Parker. They couldn't stop that man. He was all over the place. Once again, stepping up when Tim Duncan was not playing up to Tim Duncan level in that finals. Tony Parker stepped up when the finals MVP, playing alongside Tim Duncan. Like I said, Manu Ginobili was good on both sides of the ball, Manu Ginobili. An underrated defensive player, and like I tell you, an underrated clutch time performer, Manu Ginobili. People don't bring up Manu Ginobili as far as clutch time performers, but Manu Ginobili was one of them dudes. That was one of the keys. That was one of the things about him. But Pau Gasol is greater from 08 to 12. So for those years that he played with Kobe, he was greater. Doesn't add up. He was only great because of Kobe. Kobe Bryant made Pau Gasol greater by working on his mind, pushing him in practice, hounding him, right? That's why Pau Gasol said, yo, thank you to Kobe Bryant and what he did for me in my career. He's in the Hall of Fame because of Kobe Bryant and him pushing Pau Gasol, putting the Mamba mentality on him, right? He's giving Pau Gasol a glimpse into what it means to have a Mamba mentality and be a Kobe Bryant teammate, to compete on that level. Pau Gasol never knew what it meant to compete on that level. He had never been on a team that was actually good, a contender, until he came to play with the Lakers and Kobe Bryant. And then he found out what it was going to be like to play with those kinds of, expectations, to play in a city like LA. It was Kobe Bryant that helped push him there. That's what we're talking about here. Now all of a sudden we're going to try to lift up Pau Gasol over Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili, just to take away from Kobe Bryant, just to make it seem like he didn't do as much with less. Tim Duncan did more with less. What? I told you, the grains of Tim Duncan comes from his steadiness, right? So they're allowed to bring in different role guys, right? Bring in some different guys around Manu Ginobili and Tony Parker and Tim Duncan to help the Spurs continue to be successful. There was always guys there, but it was Tim Duncan being the anchor on defense, right? And being the mainstay, both sides of the ball, being that leader, being that anchor that allows them to bring in other guys, right? We get all of that stuff, man. But they're trying to take away from Manu Ginobili and Tony Parker, like I said, by trying to say that Pau Gasol from 08 to 12 was better than any version of them dudes, laughable. Laughable, guys. And once again, highlighting that Leslie Winning does not know the game of basketball, does not know basketball for 2010. Anyone that watched basketball in the 2000s, I think we'd all agree that Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili were better players than Pau Gasol was. Let's put Kobe Bryant, let's give him Manu Ginobili and Tony Parker, right, for the entire 2000s, let's say. Or let's say after Shaq leaves, they bring in Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili. You bring them on the Lakers. Bryant's not going to do anything with them guys. They're not going to win any games. And who knows? Maybe Ginobili's a starter in the Lakers, right? Maybe they have Parker the point guard. You put Ginobili at the 2, Kobe at the 3. You got a 3-guard rotation going on right there. Guys that can handle the ball, guys that can shoot. I mean, who's stopping Tony Parker from penetrating the lane? That was what made the Spurs so formidable. You had a guy like Tony Parker that could break anybody down off the dribble, penetrate against anybody because of his quickness that he had, which forces guys to collapse and kick at the shooters, right? Then you have Tim Duncan down there cleaning up the rebounds, there to dish off just in case the defense collapses. That's what made them formidable, man. You had elite defensive guys like Tim Duncan, like Bruce Bowen, right? You had guys on the team. You had a great coach like Popovich, a deep bench, right? I mean, the Spurs ran that system where they moved the ball around a lot. Right? They passed the ball. Tony Parker was the orchestrator of that, guys. Like I said, one of the elite point guards of the 2000s. The Jason Kidds, the Steve Nashes, the Tony Parkers. That's Tony Parker, man. He's in that group with them dudes, right? He's in that next step, right below those guys. Tony Parker, man. He was doing his thing, but now we've lowered him down to less than Pau Gasol. Pau Gasol. What was Pau Gasol doing in Memphis? What was Pau Gasol doing for the Olympic team that Manu Ginobili wasn't doing for his team in the Olympics? What did Pau Gasol do without Kobe Bryant? Did he win anything? Remember, guys, in 2017, I believe Tony Parker or maybe Manu Ginobili was still on the Spurs in 2017 when they were competing. One of them guys, I can't remember who, Manu Ginobili or Tony Parker, they were still there. Tim Duncan retired, remember, 2016. And I told you guys, the 2017 Spurs were in the Western Conference Finals, and to me, they should have won. They were blowing out the Warriors. The 2017 Warriors were getting blown out by the 2017 Spurs in the Western Conference Finals without Tim Duncan there. There's Kawhi Leonard, LaMarcus Aldridge. Now, I can't remember if it was Parker or Ginobili that was still on the team. I can't remember, because I know that Tony Parker played like a year for the Hornets, right? He went for the Hornets for a season because he was a Michael Jordan guy, I said. He was like, I just wanted to play for the Hornets because Michael Jordan was the owner. He liked Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan always lived up to Michael Jordan in France. Once again, Michael Jordan taking the game global. France, Tony Parker idolizing Michael Jordan. But anyway, guys, this is what these guys did, man. They were much better players to me. They were better players than Pau Gasol. I'm not saying they were miles ahead of Pau Gasol, but they were better players than Pau Gasol. And that dude lens of winning is only saying stuff like this, like I said, to knock Kobe Bryant. That's what these guys do. They're just disingenuous. Like I said, they'll use certain scenarios for one player, but they won't use that scenario for another player. Right? He'll try to say that Bill Russell made his teammates Hall of Famers. He'll try to say that Tim Duncan made those guys, Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili. But then he'll try to not say that Pau Gasol made Kobe, or the best version of Pau Gasol had nothing to do with Kobe Bryant. Like, I don't know what you're doing here, dude. You're a straight clown. All right, please. I tell you again, please stop talking basketball for 2010. You want to talk basketball from 2010 to now? By all means, clown. You can talk about the weak era that we've seen over the last 10 years. Knock yourself out. But stop talking about basketball before that, because you have no clue what you're talking about. No clue. Tony Parker was way better than Pau Gasol, man. He was. Just definitely was. I told you, Pau Gasol is not a Hall of Famer without those years in LA playing with Kobe. Tony Parker's a Hall of Famer regardless, man. Regardless. He was that good on his own, in his own right. I mean, they didn't even, that was the thing about the Spurs. They were drafting guys that people didn't even know about. They were like, where'd they find this guy, Manu Ginobili? Where'd they find this guy, Tony Parker? It wasn't, they're doing great because of Tim Duncan. Stop that nonsense, man. You crazy right there. That's insane. Pau Gasol is great. It was greater and in the Hall of Fame because of Kobe Bryant. That's the facts, man. Listen, when you're a straight clown, dude. Stop talking basketball. Even the people in your comment section were telling you that take was way off. I don't know. Once again, you're just talking the talk. You don't care about being factual. You don't care about being accurate. You don't care about giving your own people about giving them the facts. You're just giving them some weird opinion based off of your emotions, man. Based off a narrative that you're trying to keep out there. You're a clown. You guys know the deal, man. I'll catch you guys on the next one.